Hey everybody, Kyrie091 hanging out with you. Boy oh boy, are we gonna have big fun today learning how to play EverQuest Project 1999. So, one of the biggest differences between this and the live version of EverQuest is the absence of an area known as the Plane of Knowledge. If you've played EverQuest, you know all about it. The Plane of Knowledge is the central hub of the world that lets you teleport from place to place, all the major cities instantly with no level requirements and experience necessary. It just makes getting around, well, a little bit too easy in my opinion. So in this episode, we're going to go over some of the basics of getting around in this huge expansive world of Norrath without that lousy, cheaty Plane of Knowledge. The first important thing is just basically running, getting places. You can use maps that you find online. I'll post a link in the description to a really helpful map that I found that just makes getting around a lot easier if you don't know your way around zones that well, or what zones lead to what, or where zone entrances are. I'll post a link to that map. Also, I mean, when it comes to running, you know, find someone who can cast Spirit of Wolf. Find a druid, a shaman. Bards get us a really short-term run-enhancing song. But if you're in a group with a bard and you're traveling somewhere with them, they can sing that song and keep you running fast the whole time. Another common way to get around is to ask for ports. To ask someone around you if they can port you. So you might be in a zone like this and you'd say, anyone porting to West Commons, or something like that if you wanted to go to West Commons. And then you would simply find a druid or a wizard who could teleport you over there. Often you pay them a fee, you know, for their porting services, but sometimes it's not required. Just depends on the person doing the porting for you. In my case, I happen to be a druid, so I have self-port spells called ring spells, like this one here, Ring of Butcher. If I cast that on myself, like I'm doing right now, it will teleport me to the Butcher Block Mountains, but I'm not going to do that because I don't actually want to go to Butcher Block Mountains. But that's just an example. There are also various boats throughout the game that travel from place to place. All you do is climb on board the boat and ride it to its destination, and it'll drop you off at another city somewhere on the other side of the world. So those are pretty much the main ways, in fact the only ways I can think of getting around. Every caster does get a one teleport spell. The only casters that get teleport spells to take you just about anywhere in the world are druids and wizards. But every caster gets this spell called Gate. All Gate does is returns you to your bind point, the point where you respawn if you were to die. Gate takes you back to that point. So if I needed to get to the Common Lands, I'm here in Greater Fadark. If I needed to get to the Common Lands, it's as simple as the cast of a spell here. In this case, I'm doing Ring of Commons. That's a self-port, but there is one that'll take your whole group there, and you kind of have to wait through the load screen here when you transfer from zones. Each area of the game is made up of what's called zones. Greater Fadark is a zone. West Common Lands is a zone. That's the one I'm teleporting to right now. East Common Lands. Cities are made up of one or more zones usually. Like the city of Freeport is made up of West Freeport, East Freeport, and North Freeport. Each zone is kind of like its own separate environment that's independent from any other zones near it. So let's say that I had angered this spider right here by casting Ensnare on him, and that made him really mad, and now he wants to kill me. And oh, what am I going to do? I don't stand a chance against that spider. I mean, well, honestly I do. But all I'd have to do is let this spider follow me to a zone line. The spider cannot leave this zone. We are currently in the West Common Land zone. He can't leave it. I can, he can't. So if I leave the zone, I'm safe from that spider. That spider can't follow me in there, and when I come back into the zone, he won't be mad at me anymore. Me leaving the zone basically clears his memory of ever being mad at me. So getting around Norrath, that's a very important thing to remember, the concept of zones. You need to know where the zone lines are, you need to know when you're going to be crossing them, to know when you're no longer going to be in danger. If you have a bad guy chasing you and he's about to kill you, if you can get to that zone line and cross over into a new zone, you're totally safe from that bad guy. He can't follow you and he can't hurt you. So that's the basics of zones, and it's a big part of getting around Norrath. I should be approaching the East Commonland zone line pretty quick here. I'm pretty familiar with the area, and I kind of know my way around. As you can see, I'm sticking on the path, just, like we had established earlier. Should be right up this way, should be the zone line. And wouldn't you know it, the game kind of freezes up a second there and it says loading, please wait at the bottom. I'm now heading into the East Commonland zone, and that spider who was following me, who was mad at me, he no longer remembers a thing about it. He can't follow me into this zone. If I go back into West Commonlands, he might still be there, but he's not going to care about me anymore. Now, obviously that's not going to be the case if he's an enemy that would be mad at me anyway, but we'll go over that. If you don't know how that works, definitely watch the video about melee combat. One final piece of advice for traveling around on foot: use paths in places that have dirt paths in the ground. Make use of them. It'll make your travels a lot easier if you memorize how to get somewhere based on a path that you take. This fella here could probably use a Spirit of Wolf spell, so I'll cast it on him because he just asked anyone sowing, which is short for Spirit of Wolf. So there it is. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. That wraps up this episode on the basics of getting around. This is Kyrie091 wishing you a wonderful day, and I'll see you in Norrath.